We got together with Pastor Chris and Pastor Stephen on Thursday to just go in after the presence of God and try to pen lyric and melody. And after a couple of hours, it just felt like the presence of God just stopped everything. And we wrote a song called The Blessing. And it's straight from Scripture. And it's the heart of the Father over us as His kids. And we're going to sing it this morning if that's okay. And this is a blessing over you and your family and your children. So just receive this morning. Just put your hands out in front of you. Turn your heart to a place of just receiving the blessing of heaven from God Himself over you this morning.
Shine upon, be great. You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phone. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas.
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Wednesday, 22nd day of July, 2020. Thanks so much for joining us, whoever you are, wherever you are. We're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you can't see the screen I have up, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds. That will give you one-click access to the show each and every day. It also gives you access to the chat box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. If you're out of the office, away from your desktop, you can point any internet-connected browser to cfrn.net/live, and there you'll find a live, real-time simulcast of the show. As it unfolds, you just won't find the chat box. Also, during this broadcast, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Let's open with a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for your promise that your mercies are new every morning, and your faithfulness is great. We thank you for your amazing power, your great love, and your work in each and every one of our lives. We thank you for your goodness and for your blessings over us. We're so grateful that only in you can we find hope for even the toughest times. Thank you for your power that gives us strength and for your spirit that helps us in all things. Thank you for your mercy, for your grace, that you are always with us and will never leave us. We thank you for your incredible sacrifice that we might have freedom and life more abundant. Forgive us when we don't thank you enough for who you are, for all that you do, and for all that you have given each and every one of us. Help us to set our eyes and our hearts on you afresh today. Renew our spirits and fill us with your peace and your joy. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys. Happy Wednesday. Let's take a look at the numbers around the world. Now, the markets did a turnaround on the overnight Globex session. We had some China news out of Houston. I'll go into that in more detail during the show today. But we were building a nice leg to the upside last night on Globex until that news hit. That sent us lower, and the market's been trying to recover the ground that was lost most of the morning. Currently, here in the U.S., the Dow is up 46 points. The NASDAQ is up 1 point. S&P 500 is up 6. Russell 2000 up 2.5. No movers, no shakers. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 41 cents, trading 41.51 last. That's a drop of about 1%. We did have crude inventories today. Gold up $20.10, trading 18.64 last. That's a gain of 1%. Silver up $1.10, trading 22.66 last. That's a gain of a little over 5%. We had both Concierge and Logic alerts last night on silver. Silver ran up about $7,000 per contract, not once, but twice. And I'll go over that with you a little bit later in the show. We've talked a number of times here over the past few weeks about the potential coming rally in the metals, and we've shown some charts and explained why, in our opinion, the potential for silver to double an investment just might be greater than that of gold. I'll go over those charts again today, later in the show. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei was down 132 points, Shanghai up 12, Hang Seng down 577. That's a little over 2.25%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 62, 1%. DAX down 67. The CAC also down 67, but for the CAC, that's a drop of 1.25%. That gives us a mixed day in Asia. It's a red day in the UK. And at the moment, it is a big green, well, it's not big, but it is a green Radio Wednesday here in the US of A. If Michael's ready, we'll go there and get a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. After that, I'll be back and we'll go over the Concierge Trade Alerts from last night. We'll go over the Logic 247 alerts. We'll take a look at those big moves in silver. Michael, if you're ready, you can take it away. Okay, that's the sound of Michael.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Okay.
Give me a second here. I'm going to change my name so I know which one is me. Okay, good enough.
Got it?
Yep, I got it. Coming over here right now.
All right.
There we go. All right.
It's all yours. Take it away.
Okay, great. Thanks. Guys, we had a great morning. And it's going on and on and on. Let's start out first, like I have to do every time. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. And right here it says free 5-day trial, no credit card required. Click on that. And it's going to bring you to this page, eminitrainingschool.com. On this page, all that we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. You can tell us a big trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. And that's true. We do the one-on-one training. I got them scheduled out till next week right now. Hit the send button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on that confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the link, we don't know that you took the free trial. Now, today, we had our best day in probably a long time. And I missed a bunch of trades, and I'm going to show you all that right now. But today we lost 8 ticks on the euro. We made 58 ticks on gold, and we made 18 ticks on the ES. Put us at plus 755 per contract on the morning session. And today it took 7 minutes and 3 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $13 a contract. I'm sorry, we're up $100 a contract. We took a total of 13 trades. I'm just looking here. Yeah, our first trade of the day was a stop out, and then I don't know. We were -8 on gold when we started out, and we ended plus 58 on gold. And it's kind of funny, ironically, symmetry just kills me. We were plus 58 on gold, but we're plus $5,885 on the month. That's over 15 trading days, averaging $392 per contract per trading day. On the year now, we're at 49,449. Again, symmetry in numbers. That's over 133 trading days, averaging $371 per contract per trading day. And I'm just looking at the charts here right now, and there was so much opportunity. In the morning session, of course, we did everything that I just said we did. Okay, so I'm not showing the stop out. Anyway, on this trade, we picked up 10 ticks. On this trade, we picked up 11 ticks. On this trade, we had a break even. On this trade, we picked up 20 ticks. And on this trade, we picked up 10. And there were all these other trades in here. There was one here, one here, one here. On the way down right here, we're going into the low of the day right here. I think that's why I don't have anything highlighted. But we had an opportunity right there to pick up some more. And right here, we picked up another 10. And right here, there was another opportunity. And then we get into the break. Now, during the break, it got a little sideways right here, but it turned around and started moving up nicely. And there was a long opportunity right here and a long opportunity right there. And so, I mean, you could have easily been up, $1,000 contract on gold alone. This is where we stopped out. Here now, we started out. We started out right here. Now, if you look at the YBR stuff that I went over yesterday in the meeting yesterday, there was a bunch of opportunity using just what I showed you yesterday. We had this right here was like a triple, because it was, you had the red on the YBR, you had the down close, you had the bearish separation, and red on the cycle. So right there was a good opportunity to trade. Now, I must have been doing something else at the time because I didn't put the trade on. But here is another shorting opportunity. Then here we picked up 2. Here, it's the total opposite of what it was over here with the YBR. Here we have blue on the YBR with an up close. Blue on the cycle, good separation. It's a triple. And it was a great trading opportunity. This one right here is a little more questionable, and you would have to probably take a little bit of profit or just suck it up and take a lot of profit, you know, while it was moving around. Now right here, this is important. You know, a lot of places will show you just the winning trades, but this was the loss right here. We stopped out on this trade, and we had red on the YBR with the down close, bearish separation, and red on the cycle. And this one didn't work. Yesterday when I was doing the meeting, yesterday afternoon, I think Clayton, I'm pretty sure it was Clayton, asked me to show him a losing YBR trade. And it was tough to find one, but I did. Well, this is one right here. Now let me go look and see. No, Clayton's not in here right now. But this right here, blue on the YBR, up close, bullish separation, bang. Red on the YBR, down close. Oh, here, red on the YBR, down close, bearish separation. It eventually went down. But that was the morning with gold. No. Oh, that was the euro. Sorry. We already did gold. Crude oil during the break right here. Look at what happened with crude during the break. Now, we had crude inventories come out today. Right here. We had crude inventories come out. I didn't trade crude at all today. You know, just looking around at it, I was following it. And, you know, the YBR trades are working out great. See there and there. That would have been a break even. Profit. This one would have stopped you out. But during the break right here, do you guys see that? Does that jump off the charts at you? It should. If you've been here for any length of time, this should jump right off the charts at you. Right there, it's a couple $100 per contract. And it's continuing right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw it on. What's the low on this? 77. So 77 up to 81. Okay, so if we get an up close at 81, I'm going to be long on crude. But we didn't trade crude at all today. And we just did. I just got filled. On the ES, now let me scroll back on this. Now, if you were doing the YBR trades on the ES, there were a bunch. And again, if you guys aren't familiar with the YBR trades, send an email to support@cfrn.net. The meeting that I did yesterday is posted in, I think, 3 different places in Telegram, and it's probably going to be posted on YouTube if it hasn't been already. But anyway, right at the start of the day, right here at 9:30, you know, we had blue YBR, bullish separation, up close, and up I went. Did it again right here. Now, I didn't place a trade using the trade setups that we do in the room until way over here. And it ended up being a break-even trade on the first one. But even in all this chop right here where I normally would not trade, the YBR was keeping in the market, and eventually it did work out. Okay, but my first trade was right here, and it was a break even. My second trade was right here, and I had +8. My third trade was right here. I had +2. That put me at +10 on the total. And this one was another +8. That put me at +18 on the morning session. I missed a couple, well, a few right here. And during the break, there really wasn't much. There was a big move up right here, but we didn't have a trade opportunity there. Okay, and that was pretty much the morning session. So let me go back here to the spreadsheet and tell you exactly what really did happen. Today is the 22nd day of July 2020. We lost 8 ticks in the euro. Hang on a sec. Okay, I had to cough. We made 58 ticks in gold and 18 ticks on the ES. It put us at +755 on the morning session. Now, that is one contract in 2 hours, and you just saw that I missed a whole bunch of the trades. So if you're not doing this right now, these are unprecedented times. I can't encourage you anymore. I mean, you know, even if you're not using the CFRN setups, right now there is so much opportunity. You got to jump on it. Okay, today it took 7 minutes and 3 trades, and I stopped out on one of those trades, but I got it right back. To make $100 a contract, and we took a total of 13 trades today. So on the month now, we're at $5,885 per contract. That's over 15 trading days, averaging $392 per day. Now, multiply that by 10, or 20. That's where you want to be. Okay, on the year, we're at $49,449. That's over 133 trading days, averaging $371 per contract per 2-hour trading day. And that crude trade, right now, there it is. Okay, I'm going to throw my stop at break even on it and slide it back over by here. I'll put it back so you can see it. Right now, where is crude going to go? It's going to go right here. So that would be 9 ticks in profit. It's probably going to go through there. The pullback side doesn't look strong, but the gain side, 41.90. That's where it's going to go. I've been doing things a little bit different lately in the room, where I'm showing people where I really think it's going to go. Not using the charts, but using the DOM. And you know, if you haven't been into the room in a while and you're a partner, you should really get into the room. And if you haven't done a one-on-one session with us in a while, you should really schedule a one-on-one session with us. You know, I was talking to a guy yesterday, and you know, I have one-on-one sessions scheduled for today, but I was talking to a guy yesterday. He said, well, you should do, you know, group sessions instead of one-on-one sessions. And you know, the training room in the morning is a group session. So I mean, maybe I'm talking too fast, and you know, I might be jumping over things, but I want to answer every question that gets asked. I mean, and even right now, you know, you have an opportunity right now to ask me anything you want. And, you know, right now my target is at 9 ticks. My stop is at break even. So I have no risk on this trade that I just took. And here, I'll show it to you again. There it is. And yesterday, during that meeting that I did multiple contracts. So that's where we want everybody to be. All right. Multiple contracts, get the goal. That's it. Okay, so if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage at CFRN.net, and right here it says free 5-day trial. Click on that, and you'll be brought here. And on this page, all you need to do is put in your name, your email, and your phone number. Tell us the biggest trading challenge so we can tailor one-on-one training just for you. Hit the send button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay? And I can hear Dwayne clicking away in the background. So we can pass it back out to him. But wait, before we do, oh, okay, well, Dwayne just took it. But as we pass it back out to him.
If you want.
No, I was just going to show that, you know, we just about hit that level that I said we were going to hit. 4190 is the level. And it's just about there right now. There it is. Okay, so I just made 9 ticks on that trade that I just posted for everybody. And that's almost the goal for the day. It actually, yeah, 4190. That's it. And it's going to go up to the high of the day right now. And there it is. Just put in a new high on the day. If you guys are active partners, or even if you're inactive, you need to get active. And you need to get back into the training room. Or just get into the training room. And, you know, I'm doing a little more than I used to do because I didn't want to confuse anybody in the past, and I really don't want to confuse anybody right now. But just more information is what you're getting from me right now. Okay, and today, in 30 minutes, I have another meeting. So I'm gonna wrap it up for right now, but if anybody has any questions for me, you have my phone number. You know, it's 617-943-3298. That's my personal cell phone. It's 617-943-3298. You can call that number. If you want to send an email to me, it's support@cfrn.net. Okay, you go, Dwayne. It's all yours.
Recap of the recap.
Today, 7 minutes, 3 trades, $100 a contract.
Good job. All right, guys, here's the Concierge Trade Alerts. If you want to grab a screenshot, these are based on historic price action. They are delivered as a static report, just like this, shortly after the Globex Open each evening. As you see here each day on the show, as I do the recap of the Concierge Trade Alerts, more often than not, these will trigger multiple times. The price heading higher, it'll come back, it'll trigger, come back and trigger. Some days you see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even more triggers at the same price. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So that's down through the Canadian dollar. Here's the bottom part if you want to grab the screenshot of these as well. Now, the difference between the Concierge and the Logic. Logic is based on current price action, not historic. Also, the Logic alerts are delivered in real time, 24/7, around the clock, as opportunity presents itself. Okay? All right. So we'll start out here with a daily chart of the S&P. Things in perspective. Okay. Yesterday we talked about the swing high, 32.73 and a quarter. The number that we've been waiting for months was here where the bearish cross took place at 32.72. Now, it's a real important concept to grab a hold of, because just as we waited months for price to get here, and we discussed over and over that first time up it would be difficult to get through that area, that would represent good resistance. You can see the same concept here on the 30-minute chart. Remember, markets are fractal in nature. Everything that we teach you is fluid across all markets, all time frames. So we had this bearish cross last night. That was a result of the China news out of Houston. Okay, so that bearish cross, when price tried to run back up, take a look, that swing high right at the bearish cross. This morning, okay, here's the 30-minute opening candle on Wall Street. The bearish cross, resistance, resistance, couldn't even quite get to it, couldn't even quite get to it. Finally managed to close above it. In the pre-market strategy session this morning, we discussed 32.59 as the make or break number for the session. When the session started last night at the Globex Open, sentiment for the session was sideways to higher. After this, it switched sideways to lower. If we get above 32.59 and hold it on a little pullback, right? So instead of this becoming resistance, it becomes support. That puts us back to where we were at the beginning of the session last night, sideways to higher. So now the obstacle to overcome will be the swing high of this candle at 63.25. After that, the next obstacle is this swing high, 65.75, and then this number right here, 32.68, and up here at 32.72. Okay, so going back to the daily, this was an all-time historic high in the S&P. This is the all-time historic high in the S&P. As price was climbing back in January and February, when price couldn't go any higher, resistance, it went looking for support, which it found at the BBC. Pullbacks to the BBC hold more often than they don't. That support led us to a new all-time historic high and resistance. Our first indication that prices were headed lower was when we got a daily candle opening and closing below the BBC. That green line just stands for bull bear cross. As you can see, when price is above, we anticipate higher prices. When price is below, we anticipate lower prices. It's just very, very simple. Everything that we do is based on very simple and logical principles. Okay. So the bearish cross took us from February 26th until April. From February to April, we were under the gun, below the BBC. On April 6th, we got our first close back above the BBC. And then here's the bullish cross. It's like about April 9th. Since then, it's been a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement. We fought red and falling for a number of sessions, finally overcame it. Red and falling became blue and climbing, and then we rode the back of blue and climbing all the way up. Okay, and that brings us to where we are today, right here, right now. We've got some big names reporting after the bell today. Let's see who it is. Tesla's going to report after the bell. Microsoft is going to report after the bell. We don't see gaps in futures the way you see gaps in stocks. Stocks tend to gap most every day. And if you don't understand why that is, well, when the Wall Street day session ends at 4 p.m. Eastern, stocks stop trading. But once Asia kicks in, there's traders there trading stocks. The London day session opens at 3 a.m. Eastern, our time. And so you have European traders trading stocks. And so whatever happens with the stocks during the Asian session and the European session, when Wall Street opens, our first print. So if European traders have driven price up or driven price down, that's where the Wall Street market is going to open. That's why you have the gap. Because futures trade virtually around the clock, with the exception of a 1 hour break Monday through Thursday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. We don't see gaps on the futures, typically except Sunday night because the market has been closed a day and a half, and earnings season. And with both Microsoft and Tesla reporting today, if they beat their numbers or miss their numbers, we could see a gap when the market reopens. Now, it has to be pretty big hit or miss for it to really change the structure of the market, but it's something you'll want to be aware of, especially if you hold positions open from one session to the next. If that's something you do on a regular basis, you really need to be aware of the potential for a gap. Now, if a gap's in your favor, that's awesome, dancing in the street. If the gap's against you, well, that's a gap of a different color. President Trump's going to hold a news conference at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure what his topic of discussion will be, but we'll be watching that this afternoon. That's 5:30 p.m. Eastern. The markets reopen at 6 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be a busy afternoon. You've got earnings reports after the bell, then you've got the president speaking, and then the Globex open at 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here. The Logic 247 alert channel and the discussion group are open around the clock. They're monitored 18 plus hours a day. So whether you're a member, passport holder, partner, or someone on a trial, when you have a question, there's almost always someone around to provide you with an answer. And it's very important that you take advantage of the resources that are at your disposal. There's a 2-hour class, a group meeting, every day from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. That's plenty of time to ask any questions that you might have. After the 30-minute break, we come back and do this 2-hour broadcast, which again is a group session. You have an opportunity to ask any questions that you have during this group session. When you ask questions during a group session, everyone benefits, because if you have a question, other traders may very well have the same question. So other traders not only get to hear your question, which might get them to thinking about something they weren't previously thinking about, and then everyone benefits from the answer. Okay? There's the 2-hour workshop on Thursday nights. Another opportunity for you to ask questions and get answers. Okay? As I told you yesterday, my schedule will be getting busier and busier as we head into the end of the year. So we're always available to meet with you for a one-on-one mentoring session. The request is that you exhaust the other avenues of getting an answer. In doing so, that makes sure that we're always available for one-on-one sessions for people who really do need specific help on a specific thing. And always ask yourself, okay, these questions I have for the mentoring session, is this something that I can ask in the group session so that everyone benefits? Okay? If the answer is no, then by all means, go to the page on our website where you can use the self-service, book your own session with me. If the times I have posted as available is not a time that works well for you, then reach out to Valerie at 949-42-EMINI. She'll get with me. We'll work out a time that works for your schedule. Okay? We consider it a blessing that we are able to provide our valued members with almost around-the-clock support. It's just important that we use the time and the resources we have available in the most efficient manner. Okay? All right. So back to this. Obstacles. Obviously, the high of the session is an obstacle, 32.65.75. If we overcome that obstacle, the next obstacle would be the high of yesterday's session, 32.73.25. So while we did reach that big picture resistance that we've been waiting for, what's going to be important is the day that we actually close above 3262. Once that happens, once 3262, which is an area, once that becomes support instead of resistance, that's when we'll embark on the journey to take out the all-time historic high. I've mentioned over the last few days the importance of the market conditions to both political parties. President Trump needs a strong stock market, strong economy to help him in his bid to retain the Oval Office. The other party, of course, wants to see a weak stock market and a weak economy, because they'll use that to attempt to take the Oval Office. So the stakes could not be higher. Throw in on top of that all of the hedge fund managers, all the money managers on Wall Street and everywhere else around the world. They want to see a strong finish to the year because that's how they make their money. Of course, some charge a management fee plus a percentage of the profits. There are a few that work just for a percentage of the profits. But either way, it's very important to those folks. So you could take all of those fund managers, for the most part, and lump them together with President Trump's side of the equation. Strong economy, strong stock market, and then you've got the other team. Okay? Both have very different motives. President has at his disposal a unicorn called the Plunge Protection Team. The other team doesn't have access to that, but they may have a team of their own. And again, that's if you buy into the whole story of the Plunge Protection Team. But that's a story for another day. We can discuss that sometime in a workshop, perhaps. Okay? So that's where we are on the daily. The important numbers to watch if this market should reverse. Remember, we're at that make or break number, and we need to hold that on a pullback. If we fail to hold it on a pullback, here's the BBC. We would need to get below that. We would need to get below the step line. And then on just the last leg up, the 24% Fibonacci retracement is here at 3206/07. That would be an obstacle on the way down. If all of those are overcome, tall order could happen. Then that opens a nice window of opportunity here back down to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean just happens to be green. Okay? That window of opportunity, roughly 3,200 down to 3,170. It's about a 30-point move, which equates to a 300-point move in the Dow. So that's not a huge number, and the market could easily accomplish that in one session. So let's go to the 30-minute chart of the S&P. Last night, the Concierge Trade Alert for the S&P was to be short 3247. The swing low was 3227. Okay. From 47 to 27, that's pretty simple math. 20 points, $50 a point, $1,000 per contract traded. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. As price rallied its way back up to the BBC, price always reverts to the mean. It also put price back above the trigger, where it in fact triggered two more times. Both times reaching down to the weekly trading zone, which we expect to be good support when approached from above. So as we're dropping from 47 to 44, that's 3 points, $150 per contract. Did the same thing again. Attempted here and didn't quite make it. It got down to 54.5. Now, there's a dynamic here is different as night and day. On a short, you want red and falling. You want that bearish wind at your back. Over here, while this is still a tradable opportunity, and we discussed it at length this morning in the pre-market strategy session, what you have to be aware of is with blue and climbing below, that represents support. Coming down to the weekly zone, that represents support. Okay? The fact that we got such a larger move last evening was, of course, spurred by the China news, but we don't trade the news, we just trade what's in front of us. When you have price this far away from red and falling, see, here's blue and climbing with price just climbing the back. That's one dynamic. But another dynamic is you have a trigger here, red and falling is way over here. That type of divergence between price and the indicator lets you know that there is strength in the trend. You know, there's indicators that measure momentum, and there's indicators that measure trend and strength of trend and, you know, momentum times trend, all these kinds of things. But all of those indicators, you can simply observe price action and have a real good idea of what those indicators would tell you if you were cluttering up your chart running them, when you can just glean the same information from looking at the chart. So, trigger, 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 price right here. This is the Wall Street opening candle. Again, as we reached into this area where the bearish cross took place, this is just like what I showed you big picture on the daily. Everything we do is fluid across all markets and all time frames. When I go from daily to 30-minute, I don't change my way of thinking. I don't change my indicators. I don't change my approach. The only thing I change is the time frame. No matter what market or what time frame you're trading, the clock on the wall is always price. Okay? So you can see the area of resistance created by the bearish cross. There's once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6th time. Now, when I said we need to hold that area on a pullback, we haven't done that yet, because this red candle is now below 32.59, and that's the make or break number. So we'll have another 30-minute candle in about 10 minutes. We start printing green there, we can start talking about the fact that price did get above the make or break number, did in fact hold. See, from where we sit here, price could easily dip below blue and climbing, below the step line, find support at the BBC, and if that happens, then we have a nice long opportunity, but that would take us right back into this same area, okay? Which, until we get above it and hold it on a pullback, still resistance. Looking left, you've got this swing high, and this swing high, and this swing high, and this swing high. When you're faced with a market like that, okay, each one of those little areas can serve as resistance, and any resistance point, minor or major, can turn into a reversal. You have to be prepared for that, and that's why you must always trade with a hard stop loss. When that news came out last night out of Houston about China and the burning of the documents, okay, we had just, in fact, I think I had just posted a chart in the discussion group. We had a nice move up. We got a pullback. We were looking for the pullback to hold, because it holds more often than it doesn't. But it didn't hold, and there was actually a fundamental reason. But we're not concerned with the fundamental. When price gets below the BBC, we know that we have to be looking to sell the market, and so leg, retrace, leg. Whichever way the market's flowing, up or down, as long as it's flowing, you can apply our methodology and our strategy. The long side for the S&P last night was 32.63. Now, here's 32.63. 32.63. See, this swing high, 63.25. Once price has had a retracement like this, a leg or retracement, it's reaching, right? Okay. Over here, we actually made it up to 65.75. So from 63 to 65.75 gave us 2 3/4 points. Okay. But the bears took back the ball and ran it downfield. Buyers came in just above this weekly trading zone. In fact, this week's zone is 32.25/26. Okay. So price came within 1 1/4 points of touching the zone. Zones are an area. It's important to remember that, just like this big picture resistance on the daily. It's an area. Fibs are an area. These fibs I drew on the last leg up, even though it does give us an exact price point on the chart. Always remember, it's an area. Okay. All right, that's the story on the S&P. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. Richard, you say you have no sound. I'm going to guess that's on your end. Check your connection, check your headset, because everyone else has sound. Type you a message, because obviously you can't hear me. Haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing okay. All right. So, see what's happening here on the 30-minute before we leave the chart. We're at blue and climbing. Will this hold? If it does, then we've got lots of room to rally on the upside. If this blue and climbing and step line don't hold, then the next area you look to hold is the BBC, and if the BBC fails to hold, that's going to take you back down to this CTA and back down to the weekly zone, which we expect to be good support until proven otherwise. All right, on the Dow. Last night's concierge alert for the Dow, 26705. So that's going to go right in here. Now, you should never trade an alert just because it's an alert. You need to go to your chart. You need to check market structure at the time of the trigger. I teach all of our traders a very simple 3-step methodology which uses market structure to determine where the stop loss should be, as opposed to relying on a fixed number or an algorithm or a percentage of the ATR. We just ask the chart, where should I put my stop? And once you learn this 3-step methodology, you'll know exactly where to put it. And I'll teach you that in the very first mentoring session that we do. So, for the Dow, it was 26705. 26705, okay. And then the swing low, we spiked the zone at 26580/85. That is a weekly zone for this week. We expect that to be good support. Till it isn't. It was. So if we take 705 and we subtract, we'll just go with the zone there, 580. That's a move of 125 points. The Dow pays $5 a point. So that's a $625 per contract move just to the zone. We did trade a little bit below the zone. Okay? So we went from zone down to the zone, back up to the zone. Only 3 things happen at a weekly trading zone. The most likely thing, the thing you'll see again and again, is consolidation. Second most likely is rejection. There's a great example of rejection right there. We had a huge red candle all the way down. But by the time the 30-minute period was up, all we were left with was just a wick touching the zone. That's rejection. The slice, which is the third and least likely thing, is when price rips through a zone like it's not even there. When that happens and that move runs out of steam, typically price will reverse back to the zone that it sliced through and then continue in the direction of the slice. Okay? So that's the S&P. That's the Dow. Let's go to the Russell. Last night's alert for the Russell was to be short 1475 right here. Sell 1475. And we got a zone at 70/71. So that's a 4-point move, $50 a point, $200 per contract traded. So this first trigger was good. This second trigger was good. The third trigger, which was a bounce off of the BBC, it was good at the time of trigger, but look at where it fell. It came into resistance. This one didn't make it to the zone. This one did. This one did. So we had the identical trade, two back to back. The dynamic changed. That's why you always want to look at your chart. Don't trade it just because it's an alert. Okay. Support sent us back to the BBC. This was the 9:30 opening candle on Wall Street. We got through it. Right now, this is an example of a slice as well. What did price do? Ripped through it like it wasn't there, and then retraced. It didn't retrace all the way to the zone. The BBC was in the way, and so it found the support it was looking for at the BBC, and that sent it up almost to the zone overhead. Remember, zones are an area. Here and here and here and here, we hit the zone. And here, here we came a little bit shy. So what's the high probability move right now for the Russell? For this pullback to continue to the BBC, which we expect to be good support until proven otherwise, and then a continuation of the leg to the upside. Okay. All right, so that's the S&P, the Dow, the Russell. Let's go to the NQ. All right, here's the NQ. Last night's alert on the NQ was to be short 108.11. Okay. So 108.11 from 108.11. We attempted to get to the zone. Is that a current zone? 72. No, that is a previous weekly zone, so let's just go ahead and keep that out of commission. Okay. The actual zone is at 107.45. 107.45/46. Okay. 45/46. So from 108.11 we dropped to 107.82. That's going to be 82. Let's see, 90. So that's about 30 points. Here, let's do some accurate math. 108.11 minus the swing low. 107.81. Try that again. 108.11 minus 107.81. That's 30 NQ points. The NQ pays $20 a point. So that's a $600 per contract move. Price finds support. If you look here, when you cross the street, you got to look both ways. When you're trading, you always look left for potential support, potential resistance. So we found it right there. Price got back above the trigger, consolidated here at the BBC. We get below blue and climbing, we get below the step line, we get below the BBC, and that takes us down to 107.61. 108.11 minus 107.61. That's a 50-point move at $20 a point. That is $1,000 per contract traded. John just rang in, so I'm going to open his mic. Once we finish talking with John, I will still recap crude, gold. We did have two $7,000 moves last night on silver. I've talked a lot with you the last couple of weeks about the probability of the price in silver doubling long before the price of gold doubles. So whatever money that you might be interested in putting into a precious metals bull market run, the same money, okay, if the price of silver doubles, that investment doubles. No promise that it will, but that's just math. Same is true for gold. The question is which one will have to work harder to double your investment. So again, after we talk with John, as I go over those silver trades with you from last night, I'll bring up the charts. We'll discuss those possibilities, the probabilities, the percentages, etc. Also, as John's talking, I will display on the chart where we are with Logic 247 for the week. Now, we just went through most of the Concierge. Logic, those are the ones based on current price action. Those are delivered live in real time, around the clock, 24/7, from the moments the market opened, 24/5.5, from Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's when the channel opens, right up until they close Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, John, it looks like you're muted on your end, so if you can unmute yourself. Okay, I've unmuted you on my end, so you just need to unmute your end. All right, we'll just keep going until he pops in. John, you do have an open mic. Whenever you're ready, just hit the mute.
Hi. Okay.
All
So
right, you ready? Okay.
yeah.
How are you today?
It's a crazy day today. In fact, by the way, the silver's doubled already off the lows. Remember,
Yes,
got down to 12.
that's right.
Pretty much
That's right.
doubled.
That is
And
correct.
we did say that we thought this thing would advance dramatically once it broke the 20, which it has been doing. I'd be a little bit careful, frankly, up here, because it is potentially putting in a toppish formation today, possibly. The gold stocks they're coming to life. A week ago, which we talked about, was a critical. The gold stocks have kind of been underperforming, and then they suddenly started, getting with the program and really sort of starting to, go back up towards the highs. That really sort of pushed the silver and the gold, and I think
We just lost your audio, John.
something weird going on here.
No,
Okay,
no,
I'm back.
I can hear you just fine now.
Okay, so we hit 158 or so on the JNUC today. That's it's come off a low. Remember, it was down at 35, so it's five. It's pretty much gone up fivefold in the since March.
These two alerts, John, that I was just talking about, 2178 up to the swing high at 2319. It's a
Great trade.
$7,000
Heck
per
of a
contract
trade.
trade, and important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So we did it once, and we came back. We did it again.
Actually, it looks like it's going to go higher still. It's actually looking really bullish. Listen, the other thing is we inadvertently called the bottom of coffee about a week ago, if you remember. I said to maintain buy stops, sort of, I think 98 and 100. We blasted through. We actually went through 100, came back down, tested 99, and we are absolutely on fire today in coffee. I think this is the beginning of a monumental up move in coffee. And platinum, for that matter, too, by the way.
Yeah, we were looking at platinum earlier this morning. Do you want to look at platinum? Or
Yeah,
do you want to look at
I don't think it's going to be too long before we threw 1,000 on platinum, and I think actually we're going to 1,200 really quickly now on platinum. And
Here's coffee on a daily.
yeah, it's not updating that particular chart right now. That's
I
we're
think
about 107.
I think coffee's one that we're on delayed data for coffee.
Yeah, so it's about 107 already today, I think.
Here's
Might be
platinum.
more.
Platinum, this is our fourth green candle in a row on the daily chart. Now, in the room this morning, I told you guys that we needed to take out this area of resistance, and that opens the door for us to trade from basically about 915 up to 947 before we run into any obvious obstacles. Now, this is
Yeah,
a parabolic
the thing
move,
that's-
and you have to always be very careful with these parabolic moves, because when they reverse, they tend to reverse hard. But the opportunity is there.
Yeah, kind of looks like it would get up towards 1,000, maybe. There's always a bit of resistance up around 1050. So
Right here.
we could.
950
This is a kind of three-wave rally so far. Then we could possibly have a bit of a retest. And I think that. Look, the market right now is sort of marking time ahead of the Microsoft earnings tonight and Tesla and some of these other
yeah.
that are coming. So I think that they're probably going to surprise on the upside, and we're going to have another blow off here, possibly in going into the end of the week. There is this talk of a late July top, which I wouldn't discount, but it may be premature, because I still think we're somewhere between 1 and 5 weeks away from some sort of a pretty big top. In spite of it all, I know the polls have been talking about Trump, being behind, but I really don't think you can the Rasmussen was polling 48 yesterday. That's pretty safe for Trump, frankly. As long as he's around 48, 50 is going to win.
I hate to say
I'm
it,
not sure
but
where it is today.
Biden,
But
when his speech yesterday where he delivered the third plank of his plan, it was almost like, hey, who are you and what have you done with Joe Biden? He actually made sense. He was able to hold his
he's
Senate
got
structure together. It was actually, from someone who's not his biggest fan.
He's
it
got some
wasn't bad.
sharp guys, advising him, and they're obviously, they're kind of like copying Trump, so that it's sort of like,
that's the thing. Everything he says, Trump already said. He's just copying and pasting.
So 40.
His whole run for the presidency.
Today's Wednesday, right? So what's the?
Let's see what the most recent we have. That's a week ago. How about?
Just go to Rasmussen website.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Enthusiasm grows for Trump-Biden contest in November. A new Rasmussen report, National Telephone and Online Survey, finds that 67% of likely U.S. voters now consider a choice between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, a choice that they're excited about. That's up from 60% in late April. The good news for Biden is that 71% of Democrats are now enthusiastic, up from 57%. Where are the actual numbers?
Just go to daily presidential tracking poll today.
It should be here in the menu. Recent releases, politics. Trump, Biden near even. Okay. President Trump and likely nominee Joe Biden are now running neck and neck. 47% support among likely U.S. voters, again this week, to Trump's 45%. Well, that really is neck and neck. And Trump does have the benefit of being the incumbent. 5% prefer some other candidate, 4% undecided. A week ago, Biden held a 47-44 advantage after leading Trump by 10 points.
He's at 49 today.
So Trump is closing the gap.
He's at 49 today. That's a very high reading on the Rasmussen. And he did a pretty good job yesterday with the briefing. I think one of the reasons why it's up today.
Biden has the support of 74% of Democrats. Biden continues to lead among voters not affiliated with either major party. And what's up with Kanye? I haven't seen the thing where they say he broke down the other day. Did you watch that?
I sort of, yeah.
Was it cringeworthy, or I've heard all kind of stuff.
It's a thing. It's the truth coming out, I guess. So it's powerful because a lot of people in this world, almost didn't make it, and ended up, surviving.
Kanye West. When rapper announced he was running for president, eyebrows were raised. Surely we thought he's not being serious. This is a PR stunt, but if it is one big hoax. The performer has taken things one step further with a campaign launch in South Carolina. And as tempting as it would be to write this off as a promotional stunt, we all remember what happened the last time an unhinged Republican with more money than sense made a play for the Oval Office. Well said. Most likely, however, West's unorthodox rally held in Charleston did little to clarify his motivation. The 43-year-old is running as a candidate for his self-styled birthday party, so it's hard to believe there's any conviction behind his 2020 bid. Oh, this is where it went off the rails. His rally seemed to consist of off-the-cuff declarations about policy platforms and rants about abortion and abolitionist Harriet Tubman. And I know we studied Harriet Tubman when I was in grade school many years ago. I don't really remember her history. I know that she was heavily involved with the Underground Railroad, and to my understanding, she was credited with freeing a lot of slaves. And I think that's what got people in the audience upset, because Kanye said something that didn't agree with what history has taught us. And I don't know what his reasoning was. He then added he believes abortion should remain illegal, but there should be financial support for struggling new mothers, suggesting that everybody that has a baby gets $1 million. What did he say about Harriet? The points Biden made yesterday in his speech they all sound like great things, but he never answered the question, how do you pay for them? Well, the only way you pay for them is raise taxes or print more money, and neither one of those has a happy ending. West gave an impromptu monologue about 19th century abolitionist Harriet Tubman. He said, these are his words, never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go to work for other white people. Tubman was born into slavery, but managed to escape a Maryland plantation in 1849. She then returned to the South to rescue other slaves on the network of routes and safe houses known as the Underground Railroad, risking her own life to lead people to freedom. West, who announced his candidacy July 4th, has already missed the deadline to qualify for the ballot in several states. He needs to collect enough signatures to appear on the ballot in a number of others. Last week he qualified to appear on Oklahoma's ballot. What has the reaction been? A senior lecturer from the University of Maryland told the BBC he feared West's rambling appearance pointed towards a manic episode. He said he was a little more coherent than he has been in other times, but I believe he's in a bad place right now. Well, living in the shadow of the Kardashians can't be easy for anyone, but we'll see. I don't think anybody's really taking this too seriously at the moment. And I think his bid compared to the Trump bid that they referenced here are two very, very different things. Any other charts you want me to bring up here, John?
You might be good to look at AMD. We talked about this a long time ago. Late cycle performer, just made new all-time highs.
Look at that.
So very bullish. And we've looked at, we've talked about the chips that they're making, which are phenomenal. And so, I mean, with that kind of consolidation, I think the AMD is going a lot higher. This is a pretty big deal today, this breakout.
Back in 2000, when we had the .com bubble.
Remember when this was 2? Remember when we were looking at a 2, Dwayne, a couple of years ago? Check it out. When the stock was down to 2 cents. $2 rather.
$2. In 2000, a lot of wealth had been created by companies that no longer even exist. And there are people out there still spending that money today. Companies that never had revenue. They never really had a hope, but that was okay because people wanted to throw money at anything that had tech or net or anything else in the name.
Mm-hmm.
The story today is so much different because the bull market in tech in 2000 was spread over literally hundreds of companies, if not thousands. But this whole market rally right here is riding the back of 6 stocks, 7. You've got your FANGs, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google. There's a couple other, Tesla, Microsoft.
There's Zoom, the Zooms and the ZSs and things. There's a lot of stocks that are making new highs. Check out Teradyne, TER.
You got 20, 25 stocks compared to 2000 when there was probably 2,500 stocks that contributed to the rally. So, which one?
TER.
Let's try that again.
Another screamer.
TER, okay.
So the SOXL.
I've heard of them. What is it they do?
some kind of a semiconductor thing.
Okay.
So,
All right.
SOXL, just to see. It's it's kind of not as strong as AMD, but it's one to watch because it is, we right now it's still pushing a little bit towards the highs, but this is underperforming the Nasdaq in a pretty big way, and that is a problem still, in spite of the fact that AMD is going to new highs and some of these other stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I noticed that check out MELI, which is the Mercado Libre, and Baba. These while Amazon's making new highs or close to new highs, these other stocks are kind of starting to underperform.
What's the symbol again, John?
MELI.
Okay.
Which
this is the Latin America Amazon, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's had a spike there. So we're definitely in sort of dangerous territory here in the event of a downturn, which I think is coming in the next 1 to 5 weeks. Possibly, it could be. Listen, it could be just a pullback to 800, maybe for these things. Maybe Amazon comes back to 2,500, something like that. It could be worse. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think there's a correction, looming. Put it that way.
I agree.
Let's have a quick look at the silver.
Sure. Here's silver right here.
Oh yeah, it's really pushing. It's really pushing the envelope. This thing. It's really.
It really is. Now we can also take a look at it a little bit bigger picture. Okay, this is a daily chart.
That is
That's
kind of
about
a
as
move.
parabolic as you can get.
Well, we laid it out a few months ago. Remember?
Yeah, yeah. No one that tunes in here daily can say that nobody told them that that's a weekly chart right there.
So this kind of supports my theory of potential buying stampede in gold. I don't think it's going to happen right away, but between now and the end of the year, probably to 2,700. I think 27 to 35 silver, and 2,700 on the gold is a pretty good bet.
Guys,
right now.
This potential resistance here, we've taken it out. Now I'm on a monthly chart. Okay. Now we need to close the month above that area. Once we get through there, okay, then some potential turbulence here around 25 bucks. And some turbulence at 27, and then 35, and then up around 40 bucks. And then you're knocking on the door of the all-time historic high. All-time historic high happened in 2011.
Yeah, you've seen these. I mean, look at the previous run once it broke and how rapidly it went up, and we're actually.
Here? I mean, yeah, we're talking actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In under a year.
Yeah. So it actually potentially probably looking at around 60, maybe 60 this time, 60, 75. Because we're starting from a higher level than before. So definitely could eclipse the previous high.
Wayne, I see your comment. I guess Pelosi's going to be back on Mad Money again today. I saw her on there about a month ago. She was only on for maybe 5-10 minutes at the most. She wasn't physically on the show. It was like a go-to meeting, or a Zoom type call. I was surprised actually to see her on the show. Apparently it was good for ratings because she's been invited back. So it'll be interesting this afternoon to see what she says. Along with Microsoft and Tesla reporting after the bell, the president is going to speak at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. This may be about what happened last night in Houston. Are you up to speed on that, John? At the Chinese.
You mean on the Chinese thing? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, that's like that qualifies for an episode of World's Dumbest Criminals. starting this
Say again?
I said what they did qualifies for an episode of that TV show, The World's Dumbest Criminals. I mean, they light this huge fire in their dumpster behind their office, behind the embassy. Well, what do they expect would happen? People called the fire department, and the police came. And pretty soon, it was obvious what they were trying to do. And somebody called Washington, and Washington put their foot down pretty quick. And this happened overnight. Now, China has said if the U.S. has already said, I think they gave them 3 days to get out of Texas. And China said, if you actually make this leave, we're going to retaliate, or whatever that means.
I could knock the markets, you know. I mean, there's probably going to be, you know, look, it's right now obviously we're kind of marking time before these numbers come out tonight. So
Hang Seng closed down 577 points today, 2.25%. Shanghai actually posted a gain of 12 points. The Nikkei, which is a separate issue, fell 132.
I mean, it kind of feels like we're going higher after hours tonight, so we'll have to see. But,
If Microsoft and Tesla both meet or beat their expectations, it should be bullish. But don't forget those the other day, Netflix beat their earnings estimate and dropped $100 a share in after-hours trading.
Yeah.
Have they recovered yet from that?
Yeah, it's a tough one. You know, I think the Tesla goes higher. If it does go higher,
more than
it's probably going to surprise. It's probably going to surprise on the upside, you know, further, and maybe Microsoft too.
Well,
I mean,
they haven't recovered. I take that back. This is a monthly chart.
You know, the market doesn't go up like this with Microsoft unless the numbers are off the charts, you know, and they probably have to be. I mean, it's just the you know, they've been doing a lot of stuff. They laid off a lot of people. They probably cost cutting. So
well,
you never
the
know.
issue with Netflix, people talk about everybody's
could be a
at
blowout.
home. More people are watching Netflix today than ever before. But the issue with their business model is that more people watching Netflix does not translate to more revenue because they don't have commercials. The only thing that translates to more revenue for Netflix is when they acquire new subscribers.
Right.
But that is ongoing recurring revenue, which is a positive thing. So.
Yeah. So it's kind of the same with Roku because, you know, Roku's, I think it hasn't made a profit yet, but it's just the way the world works.
And what's their entry-level model for a Roku now? It's under $100, right?
Oh, it's about a quarter, 25, something like that. 20. It's really it's a very good deal. So it's about the number one product selling on Amazon. You know.
Here's the Roku Ultra, $70.
24. See that Best Buy 24.99. That's
for the Express model. This is the Premier model at Best Buy for $40.
It's still pretty good at $40. It's still a pretty good deal.
That's an incredible deal. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okie doke. Well, listen, have a good afternoon.
And, in closing, Roku is built into so many other devices now. As is, Amazon, Alexa, she's built into the Amazon Fire Stick now. So you can, the entry-level price for Roku,
as we talked about, they got that Peacock lift recently as well.
Right. I've been watching, we get access to Peacock free as part of our cable package. I guess I don't know if it's free to everyone or not, but we have Cox Cable and we have access to it. We can access it on the Fire Stick. We can just access it through our actual cable feed from Cox. Well, we found a couple of shows. There's that we've started watching, so we'll see where it goes. All right, John.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. All right, have a great afternoon. Okay, I've got the recap here from Valerie. Let me grab that real quick. And we'll take a peek at that. Which is formatted for my screen. her resolution and my screen have different resolutions. So I just have to do a couple of clicks, get it formatted. Okay. All right. So this is, now we covered, we still need to do the concierge, or we still need to do crude, gold, silver on the concierge. But here's a peek at logic. We've issued 69 alerts since the Globex opened, Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. 4 of them never triggered. That gave us 58 actionable alerts. Out of the 58 actionable alerts, 8 were stopped out. That's based on not risking more than $300 per contract, per trade, less when possible. That's 14% of actionable alerts stopped out. Yesterday at this time, we had a total of 47 alerts issued, of which 38 were actionable. 6 have been stopped out. Today, we're at 69 total, 58 actionable, 8 stopped out. So 58 minus 8, that's 50 alerts that traveled at least to the initial target. The initial minimum target is that elusive 2 points that everybody in the world of trading on the internet seems to be chasing. Everybody always agrees, man, if you could just take a couple points a day out of the S&P consistently, or the equivalent thereof in any other market, well, you could just write your own ticket. You don't ever need more than 2 points or the equivalent thereof, because as you accrue profits from trading your one contract, pretty soon you've got the money to trade 2 contracts, and then 3, then 4, then 5. But that is based on consistently taking those 2 points or the equivalent thereof out of the market on a daily basis. So today's Wednesday, since Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, basically 3 trading sessions. Sunday night runs into Monday. Okay. Monday night becomes Tuesday. So over the last 3 trading sessions, 58 minus 8, that's 50 opportunities with a published entry price and a published target price. 50 opportunities to take your daily goal out of the market, not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, keeping in mind that the alerts, while the initial target will give you that daily goal, there's always more. And we'll scroll through some of them and I'll show you what I mean. Okay. Now, here we go. Here we go. So I'll just scroll up and we'll just take a peek from Sunday night going forward. Last week, which was week number 102. Yes. Here we go. Last week, 102, week 102 of Logic 247. We issued 107 alerts, 19 never triggered, 3 carried over. We had 85 actionable alerts. 15 of those were stopped out based on not risking more than $300 per contract per trade, less when possible. So if we take 85, subtract 15, that's 70. 70 opportunities to take your goal for the day out of the market. That's 70 that actually did the deal. That's 70 alerts that actually went a minimum of 2 points or the equivalent thereof. With a total of 15 stop outs over the course of last week, that's 18%. What we've averaged over the last 102 weeks is 20%. This week, week 103, I said we had 3 carryovers. 2 of them got stopped out. one found its target. Red X means stopped out. Thumbs up means it made it at least to the initial target. And this is where we started Sunday night. This is Pacific time you see on my screen. Okay. So the first alert got out in logic at 6:09 p.m. Eastern. It was Crude. This one's got a PT. Okay. In other words, it went to the target to the tick. When it goes when it doesn't trade one tick through the target, can't call it an FT because there might be some people in line that didn't get filled at that price. So some will be an FT, reach the final target. But just to be conservative, right? We call that a PT. So then that was followed up. First we had Crude, the NQ, S&P, silver. Silver ran the distance all the way. We're at 23 bucks this morning. Okay. There's the British pound, the Dow, gold, S&P, Russell, NQ, there's a stop out, crude oil, the Dow, another crude oil. This one never triggered on the S&P. So that was all Sunday night. And then at midnight, Monday morning, S&P, the Dow. We had two-sided action on the Dow. We took a long and we took a short. No trigger on this S&P. The Russell. Again, two-sided action. Long on the Russell, followed up by a short on the Russell. And remember, these are delivered live in real time as opportunity develops, but I always make sure that you have plenty of time. If you hear that sound from your phone, from your computer, from your tablet, when it goes DDD, if I don't think you're going to have ample time to get out of your lazy boy, climb the stairs, unlock your office, and sit or stand in front of your platform, I don't put it out. Okay. NQ, there's no trigger on the NQ. There's gold, S&P, NQ, no trigger on the Russell, S&P, NQ, gold, no stop out on silver, British pound, Canadian dollar, crude oil, stop out on copper, 10-year notes, the Dow, and that brings us to Tuesday. This is one we're still waiting on. The hedge on the S&P, that one found its target. Here's another one. Some would show a final target on theirs because it hit the target to the tick. Here's a hedge on the Dow. There's gold, crude, NQ, Russell still waiting, silver, S&P, Dow, NQ, British pound, the euro, Canadian dollar. This is the Australian dollar. Now, I'm sorry, this is the New Zealand dollar. This is the Australian dollar. This was Bitcoin futures, hedge on the ES, hedge on the Dow, crude oil, which brings us into today, Wednesday, S&P, hedge on the S&P, still waiting, stop out on the Dow, still waiting on the Russell, in queue. Still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. And that one's gold. Okay. So, again, for the week so far. And our week begins Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. That's when we open the channel. And it stays open until Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. 69 total alerts. Still waiting on 7. 4 never triggered. 58 actionable. 8 got stopped out. That means 50. 58 minus 8. 50 of the alerts. 50 of the actionable alerts achieved at least the initial target, or that 2-point gold you might have daily, or in the S&P, or the equivalent in any of the other markets that we just talked about, the Russell, the NQ, crude, gold, pound, euro. Okay. Now, let's finish up with the concierge recap, which we started. The only ones we have left to do are crude and last night on crude, consider being short at 41.35. Now we have a zone at 20/25, so that's really where we expected it to go, and that's where it went, and that's where it found support, and it did do it a couple of times. Important prices, important areas, almost always tested. So sell 41.35. Okay. Down to the target at 25. Back above the trigger. Still got red and falling. Back down to the target. Then it changes. We go from red and falling to blue and climbing. So on a short, you want that red and falling bearish wind at your back. Had it here, had it here. But here, different story. Instead of red and falling, you've got blue and climbing. This represents lower prices. This represents higher prices. Okay. So while we would be very anxious to participate in these, not interested in these. Again, that's why when an alert comes out, consult your chart before placing a trade. Now the flip side on crude is to consider being long at 42, which we just might see during the remainder of this session. Okay. And then gold. The alert on gold last night, Concierge, was 1847. Right here. Already highlighted it. Now, the alerts came out at 8:15. So that's 1800 hours. Okay, so that was on this candle right here. So we had an initial trigger at 47. Ran up to 48.8. So that's $180 per contract traded. We then got back below the trigger. Triggered again. And from 1847, we ran up to 66. So that's $1,900 per contract traded. The price can't go any higher. Resistance, it will go looking for support, which it found at the weekly zone and the BBC. And the swing, remember, important prices, important areas, you got it. The swing low here was 1846.50. So did it qualify as a second trigger? Yes, it did. But the dynamic changed. You see over here, we're above the BBC. We have the support of blue and climbing. This is perfect. That's what you want for a long trade. Over here, when we trigger, because market structure has changed, and again, when you become a member, that's one of the first things that I'm going to teach you in a one-on-one session, is how to read market structure. So price came back down, qualified as another trigger, but we're below the BBC. And when we're below the BBC, we're only looking for short trades. So for that reason, not interested in this one. Same thing here. We get back below the trigger again, get down to 1846.1. But to go long means we're buying below the BBC, and we don't do that. So what happens next with gold? The high probability thing for gold is for this pullback to complete to the BBC. We expect the BBC to hold the pullback because it holds more often than it doesn't. And that's the next high probability move. So important to understand. So important to understand. No matter what these websites out there promise you, or that blistering hot email you got this morning, all these people that claim that they can tell the future, read tomorrow's headlines today, I'm sorry they lie to you, but they do. In Genesis, when God created Adam, he did not give Adam the ability to change the past or to know the future. And those two things are inextricably linked for eternity. Now, while it's not possible to know the future with certainty, it is entirely possible to know what the next high probability thing is that's going to happen in the market. Our whole methodology and strategy is based on our ability to read price action, to use our indicators to tell us what the next high probability move is. Now, knowing with certainty what will happen next and knowing with certainty what the next high probability move is, two entirely different things. However, as you just saw from the recap, 20% of the time, the market does not do the next high probability thing, which results in a trade being stopped out. So if it doesn't do it 20% of the time, I guess that means it does do it 80% of the time. That's pretty simple math. It's pretty elementary. It is the simplicity of our trading strategy that causes so many traders such a struggle. Let me explain why. Many traders come our way who have spent a lot of time, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, and a lot of treasure, 1,000, 10,000, 50,000, buying shiny objects off the internet that promise overnight riches. And 10 years later and 100 grand later, it hasn't happened. That's deeply disturbing. Now, because a person has spent so much time and so much money learning incredibly sophisticated methodologies, algorithms, just, a lot of really difficult things, stuff that is above my pay grade, let's just be honest. I had to create this strategy on a high school level, right? I graduated at 16, but I didn't go to college. The military was going to send me to college, but it turned out that didn't work out. That's a long story. because it might write your station too, but anyway, that is what it is. But people who've spent all that money and all that time for these incredibly quote-unquote sophisticated methods for trading the markets, they've done all that and failed. So it's like, okay, how am I supposed to believe that this simple little thing you do, how can that possibly work when all this expensive, complicated, convoluted stuff failed? Well, you just answered your own question. You see, all of these complicated solutions were created to solve problems that don't even exist. First, they got to convince you that there's a problem so that they can sell you a way to solve it. If they just simply taught you how markets work, then you would learn how to trade. And then you would never again have to pay them for any teaching or coaching or an endless array of indicators and oscillators and all that jazz. We just take a different approach. We give you everything we got up front, one price, one time. Lifetime membership. Don't ever have to pay us another dime. We're not going to roll out new stuff because we don't need any new stuff. And we're not going to change the old stuff. We haven't changed a line of code in our indicators in over 8 years. Haven't changed any rules to the strategy in over 8 years. And we won't. Now, everything works some of the time. Nothing works all of the time, except the market. The market works every day. The market is right every day. So our methodology, instead of trying to outpace, outdistance, outsmart the market, what our methodology does is it simply identifies what the market's doing right here, right now. Not what we think it should do or what it's supposed to be doing, but what it's actually doing. That's why our methodology hasn't gone stale or quote-unquote stopped working over all these years, nor will it in the future. Because what we've built upon is a foundation that is identical to the market's foundation. So they would have to change how markets operate in order for our methodology or strategy to suddenly, quote unquote, not work. Okay? You cannot get the right answer by asking the wrong question. If you find yourself saying things like, well, it didn't work today. What didn't work? It's like a magic trick. You know, the market is not a circus with trained seals that jump through hoops. Price has behaved in the same manner since the inception of the markets as we know them, and in the markets that, you know, predate biblical times. You've got whatever's being sold, whether it's livestock or the Emini contract. You've got buyers over here and sellers over here. Every transaction that takes place has a buyer and has a seller. One of the reasons the S&P itself just became so popular over the years is because anytime, day or night, you can always find someone willing to take the other side of your trade. You may have bought stocks before and it ran up beautifully to some price, whatever that price target was. And then you wanted to get out of the position because you had a nice profit, but suddenly nobody wanted to buy it at that price. And so you watch price deteriorate until it drops enough that somebody's willing to take it off your hands. With the S&P, you never have to worry about that around the clock. One tick away, there's always somebody willing to take the other side of your trade. Same with crude, same with gold, same with the euro. And as Globex continues to gain in popularity, Dow, Russell, NQ, almost all markets can now be traded around the clock. So if you have specific questions on that, feel free to reach out. We're always here, pretty much around the clock. Whatever questions you have, start out by asking them in the live training room. It benefits you and everyone else in the room, whether you're brand new or been with us a long time. When you ask a question, everybody in the room, the whole group, gets to hear the question, and then they get to not only hear the answer, but they get to see the answer displayed on a chart. Okay? It's 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, answers to your questions. Then every Thursday night, if you remember, 2 hours from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Again, a group environment. When you ask a question, the question is read aloud so that everyone in the room can hear it, understand it, and then everybody gets to benefit from the answer. On Tuesday afternoons, Michael has started up the Tuesday afternoon class again. So that's another 1 hour opportunity to ask questions in a group setting where everybody gets to benefit from the question and benefit from the answer. It's very time efficient. Okay? Now, if you're brand new, or if you're on a trial, if you're a new passport holder or on a trial, then you absolutely need to book a one-on-one mentoring session as soon as you sign up. Whether it's the trial you signed up for or you just became a passport holder, book a mentoring session. Most new people will book a session with me once a week, some 2 a week, and then it trails off. You know, if it's once a week, pretty soon it's once every other week, and then once a month, and then as needed. Okay. The comfort comes in knowing that if you have an issue that can't be answered for some reason in the live training room, can't be answered in the Thursday night workshop, can't be answered in the Tuesday afternoon workshop, you have somebody, a teacher, who will meet with you live in real time and make sure that you have an answer. Okay? We all know the tragic statistics about trading. 9 out of 10 new traders fail. Futures Magazine wrote an article in, I think, 2006. It was 2005 that I went from trading equities to futures. I liked the idea that it was a purely electronic market. There was no middleman, no market maker, level playing field. Man, that sounded great. Then I read this article. Now, in the article, they didn't say why 9 out of 10 fail. They were just quoting the stats. And nobody argued with them. Nobody denied it. Actually, in the online version of the magazine, there were comments that said it's worse than that. Now, I was very intrigued because I've been around the block a couple times, and I'd never seen an industry, a business, a field of endeavor where 9 out of 10 people failed. I mean, think about it. 9 out of 10 fail? I just, inquiring minds want to know. I knew there had to be some reason, some common thread why so many failed. Well, it didn't take too much research to figure out that 9 out of 10 people never had a teacher to teach them how to trade. They had gurus, they had chat rooms, they had videos and books, and indicator sets and PDFs, which those can all be good tools as part of a comprehensive training program. But if you take out the dynamic of having a real flesh and blood teacher to walk you through it all, answer your questions, explain everything to you as many times as necessary. If you go out and start interviewing traders, now if 9 out of 10 fail, then I guess simple math says 1 out of 10 succeed. Go find the 1 out of 10 that succeeded and ask them this question. When you started, did you have a teacher? 9 out of 10 will go, well, yeah. How else would I learn? I found 2 schools of thought. When people are first introduced to trading, 90% of people look at it and go, oh, wow, I can make a killing at this. They fund an account and start clicking the mouse. Those are the 90% that fail. The 1 out of 10 looks at trading and goes, I've looked at a lot of business opportunities. This one appears to have some incredible potential. I need to find somebody who can actually teach me how to do this. Those are the ones that succeed more often than they fail. If you ask that question to the 1 out of 10 that succeeded, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, of course. It's going to seem strange to them that you even asked the question. How else would I learn? If you found out I was a pilot, you probably wouldn't even think to ask, so did somebody actually teach you how to fly that plane? Imagine you've got your son or daughter with you and you get on an airplane to go somewhere, and you know how sometimes the pilots are very friendly and they shake your hand and introduce themselves and give you a little pen put on your blazer. Imagine your kid asking the pilot, did somebody teach you how to fly this big plane? The pilot will chuckle and go, yeah, I had to go to flight school and I had an instructor and I had to spend a lot of time in a classroom, and then when I first took my first few flights, my instructor was there with me with his hand on the wheel to make sure I didn't do anything crazy, right? So you have to ask yourself, which one of those 2 personalities are you? Are you the one who saw the markets and said, man, I'm going to make a killing at this? Or are you the person who looked at it and said, man, I better find somebody to teach me how to do this? Now, chances are 9 out of 10 that you're in that first group, right? But now that you've been enlightened, now that the scales have fallen from your eyes, and you recognize the importance of having a teacher, call 949-42-EMINI. You can send an email, right? I want to take your free trial. And you'll get a reply to your email that says, awesome. Call me at 949-42-EMINI. We'll talk to you for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then we'll get you set up with everything you need. And then for the next 5 days, we're going to treat you just like a partner. You'll get the weekly trading zones, you'll get the indicators, the platform, the Concierge Trade Alerts, the Logic 247 alerts, 2 hours a day of group training. You'll even get one-on-one mentoring session. The only thing you don't get on the trial is the workshop on Thursday night. It's the only thing. That is for members only. Okay. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of buying all these shiny objects off the internet, if you're ready to just find a home, settle down, humble yourself, and just learn a simple strategy and methodology that has performed quite well, over the last decade plus. Call 949-423-6464. Valerie's very nice. She will get you on the fast track today. If you call her today, you can be in the Telegram channel tonight when Globex opens at 6 p.m. Eastern and the markets start flowing. And I hope to see you there. Let's go to a good word for the day. Yesterday we talked about becoming an overcomer. Today we'll talk about location. In real estate, if you've ever been involved in real estate or been around real estate people, you've heard that location is the most important thing. In Genesis 2:8 we read, "The Lord planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed." That would be Adam. First God made the garden, then he made man and woman and placed them in the garden. This is called the law of location. Now, understand, you will succeed when you are where God wants you to be. Say that again. You will succeed when you are where God wants you to be. Now, is he talking geographically or spiritually? That's a great question. Have you ever experienced the pain of a dislocated joint? I haven't personally, but I'm told it's pretty miserable. So is trying to do your own thing instead of God's will, is that kind of like a joint being out of place? You can go the easy way or the hard way. God gives you that option. But eventually, you'll go where he wants you to go, or you'll go under. Jonah is an example of this. He decided not to go to Nineveh and preach because he didn't like the people who lived there. Helping them was the last thing on earth that he wanted to do, so he decided to run from his God-given assignment in Nineveh. So he's out of location spiritually and geographically here. As a result, we know what happened to Jonah. He ran into a storm, caused misery and loss for everyone on board. See, when we don't follow God's will, we not only affect ourselves, but we affect other people. People got sick, people died because Jonah disobeyed God. As a result, he ran into a storm, caused misery for everyone on board, and hit bottom before he finally got to where God wanted him to go. So learn from Jonah. Don't repeat his foolish, costly, and unnecessary mistake. In Genesis 1:28, God told Adam to be fruitful and multiply. Then he told him, you have to work at it. When you get to the right place, don't expect your assignment to be easy or think you'll become successful overnight. That sounds like trading, huh? It's not easy, but it can be simple. No overnight get rich quick. American clergyman and author Phillips Brooks prayed, Lord, we ask you not for lighter burdens, but for stronger backs. I once prayed and told God that as he had sent some new assignments my way, I said, hey, God, I'd love to help you out here, but my plate's full. Did he take away some of the assignments? No. He bought me a bigger plate. Are you tracking with me here? God told Adam to be fruitful and multiply, Genesis 1:28. Then he said, now you got to work at it when you get to the right place. If that's trading for you, I don't know. See, trading is not the solution for everyone. Only to those that God has called to it. That's my belief. I stand by it. If it's not for you, that doesn't mean you're wrong or bad or anything else. It just means God's got something else for you. And your job is to determine whatever that thing is that God has for you, because that is where you're supposed to be, geographically, physically, spiritually, and that's where you'll flourish. Not trying to do something God never intended you to do. Remember, we ask not for lighter burdens, but for stronger backs. In 2 Corinthians 12:9, when Paul prayed for relief, God told him, my grace is sufficient for you. When you're in the right place, doing what God wants, you'll thrive in conditions where others crumble, because you'll have God's grace on your life, because that's where he called you to, that's what he called you to do. You're going to have a supernatural anointing, and it's going to seem like everything you touch turns to gold. Not that you won't run into obstacles. Not that the enemy won't try to prevent you from destiny. That's his job, right? But if you're on the right track, if you're in the right place, if you're in the place God wants you to be, doing the thing God wants you to do, then no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Well, how do I know where I'm supposed to be? How do I know what I'm supposed to be doing? Ask God. For some, that might be a foreign concept. Ask God. Well, yeah. He's the one that created you and the place and the thing. He created it all. Well, when I ask him, I don't hear anything. Okay? Perhaps you're too captivated with your own story, your own voice. You can't hear what God's trying to say to you. When we pray for something, we maybe expect it to show up or manifest in a particular way, but it actually manifests in a different way. I know that you've all heard the story about the man. He was trapped in a flood, and he had climbed onto the top of his house, and he was praying, God, save me. And he heard God, and God said, don't worry, I will save you. So the man's clinging to the chimney, and the waters are rising, water's raining, it's still raining, waters are rising. A little rowboat comes by full of people. Hey, jump in. The guy's like, no, No, God said he was going to save me. So the rowboat just kept going. Next, here comes a helicopter hovering overhead. They lower the ladder, the rope ladder. Come on, climb the ladder, we'll save you. The guy's clinging to the chimney, the water's rising, the rains are falling, and he's like, no. God said he was going to save me. So the helicopter leaves, and pretty soon the guy drowns. When he arrives in heaven and gets an opportunity to speak with God, he says, hey God, what happened? I cried out to you for help in my darkest hour, and I heard your voice. You said you were going to save me. God chuckles the way only God can chuckle. And he said, I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. And the man looked perplexed. Don't be that man. When you ask God for help, and maybe the first step of this help is that you just need to know, where do you want me to be? I'll go anywhere you want. I'll never forget, about 6 months before my wife and I met Pastor Chris from Africa. We were having a service in our little church, and it was sort of like testimony time. Different people were standing up and saying things. And my wife and I had just turned from our depravity to try to follow the God of our upbringing once again. And I was fired up, man. Whoa. I stood up on my pew and I said, God, I will follow you wherever you send me. God, you can send me to the deepest, darkest part of Africa, and I'll go. And then I climbed down off the pew and went back to weeping and clapping my hands and singing to the praise and worship music. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you wish for. About 6 months later, you've all heard the story. We go to church on a Wednesday night, just expecting a typical Wednesday night, but we had a guest speaker. Long story behind that. I'm sure you heard it before. It wasn't too very long before I was... Now, I'm a country boy from Georgia. I never dreamed in my life that I would go to Africa. But I made that statement in church that night. I spoke to God. I spoke to everyone in the room. I said, I'll go wherever you send me, even if it's the most unlikely place I could imagine ever going. I mean, I thought, what chance is there of this happening? So it's pretty safe to say. He took me up on my offer. He introduced me to someone I'd never met, put an opportunity in front of me we didn't have the education, we didn't have the money, we didn't have the connections or any other resources required to do such a thing. But we were just spiritually ignorant enough to trust God. You say go, we go. Well, we did. And that was 20 years ago. And I posted some pictures the other day. What was jungle 20 years ago, today is 25 beautiful acres, home to over 700 children who've lost their parents, orphans. They're healthy, they're happy, they know that they're loved, they're getting a great education. Because I was where God wanted me to be on that Wednesday night that we met Pastor Chris. I was in the geographically correct position. If somebody had said, hey, go to church tonight, you'll end up in Africa, I probably wouldn't have took that very seriously. Location, location, location. Ask yourself that today. Where are you? Where does God want you to be? I'd love to hear the answer. And that's our good word for the day. Remember, if you're ready to climb, maybe you've already been through the trial. Okay? You've already taken the trial. You're ready to become a member of the family, go to or call 949-42-EMINI so Valerie can send you out the price sheet, the spec sheet that tells you everything you get. It's all here on the screen. And a payment link. It's that simple. One click, you're in like Flynn. If you've never taken the free trial, you still need to make the phone call. Hi, Valerie, I'm so-and-so. I took the trial once before, but it's been more than 6 months. Or, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I've never taken the trial. Either way, she'll get you squared away so that you can be in the Telegram channel with us tonight when the Globex markets open. And we'll treat you just like a partner, just like a member of the family for the next 5 trading days. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, all for one low price. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.